feeling offended at the disturbance in his sleep. His face immediately crunched out an annoyed expression as he picked up the call. Where are you? He felt even more annoyed when he heard the voice questioning him from the other side. Aiden, somewhere far away from annoying creatures like you. He heard a chuckle from the other side. That's not true. See, I can still reach you. Aiden's already ruined mood turned bitter as he heard him messing around. Aiden, what do you want? He asked Jasper in his warning tone. I don't want anything, bro. Your short man is waiting for you. Don't you check the time? Aiden, why? With his mind still half asleep, the man could only wonder. Tomorrow, luckily, I found something interesting enough to say. He remembered his own statement from yesterday and groaned. Aiden, I am on my way, he said, determined, which left the man on the other side impressed. He cut the call and got up immediately. Right, that doll it is worth it. He smirked, wondering about the girl he saw yesterday. Aiden was late as always, letting his friend wait for him, annoyed but keeping their calm. Collectively, Jason and Jasper, who don't mind much of his friend's irresponsible behavior. He spotted his friend but looked around in hope to find the girl he saw around the department yesterday. Jason, where his friend had to talk to gain his attention. Aiden, what? He questioned back, not sure what he was asked about. Jason, who are you looking for? He asked a straight question and then the man dodged it. Aiden tried. He replied, yawning, but Jason rolled his eyes. Jason, with the girl you took yesterday. The bored look of Aiden was replaced with a smirk. Aiden, of course, she called for it, he said proudly, but Jason could only give him a look of disappointment. Aiden, don't look at me like that. She was the one who started it, Jason noted. Jason, she never started something that you ended her with. Aiden burst into crackles. Aiden, my time and attention comes with a cost, and she was no expectation. She wasn't special enough to get one. He shook his head at her stupid thoughts, stupid enough to think that she was somehow special. Jason, can you at least not do it in university? He looked at her with pure disgust dripping down his face. Aiden, fine, I will try not to make it obvious in the university. He decided to compromise a bit for his friend, who just rolled his eyes. Jason, such a big favor, he groaned, glaring at him, but Aiden winked at him. Aiden, only for you. Aiden laughed along with Jasper, who was standing at the other corner hearing their conversation. Jason, you are hopeless. He shook his head, losing his hope in the man in front of him, but Aiden giggled, placing his hand over his shoulder, his soulmate, his best friend. Aiden, yes, hopelessly in love with you. He glared at the man hanging on him, pushing him away, but Aiden cared less. He laughed it off. He can never get angry at Jason, someone he knows even before he was born. Growing up in different household did give them a different personality, but surely they still cherish the bond they have. Jason, let's go to the class. We'll be starting soon, he said, signing in defeat, making his way towards the classroom, leaving both of them to follow him behind Eden. He surely does live those hellish classes, he said, staring at his friend's back, dumbfounded. Jasper, let's go. I'm sleepy. I need some rest too. Alan smirked at his friend who was stretching his body tiredly. At least he has someone like him. Such a relief. Alan sighed as she closed her notebook done. Taking the lectures for today, she saw the classroom emptying and stayed seated, taking her time for each the points she noted during the class. Miss Ellen, she looked up, seeing the professor calling her. She has to attend to him for short. Professor Corey, I heard you have a friend in the business administration department. She nodded her head and the professor handed over a bundle of papers in her hand. Professor Corey, if you don't mind, can you deliver this to the professor of those department? Ellen gasped, felt the weight but nodded her head as she was gonna wait for her friend anyway to go back home. Damn, this torture, Aiden cursed thousands of times in his head as he felt offended at the way he was bound to hear all of that crap that he isn't interested in. He looked at Jason, who was trying to keep his focus, and the one who had been sleeping. Aiden, I still can't get it. Why must we do this every day? Jason, who was already struggling to understand the lecture passed him a glare. You know, you are nothing but a gift to make my life even harder, he muttered, enough to let him hear. And Aiden rolled his eyes, moving his gaze towards the professor, who was looking at him. She is in bed, though, he smirked, seeing her eyeing her from time to time. Such a seduction. He can't refuse. Jason shook his head, disappointment at the way his friend was almost drooling. Jason, can you please not? He said, warning, but Aiden smirked. And say the same to her. He smirked, feeling as innocent as always, but Jason has to practice deep breaths to stop himself from throwing his fits. The lecture was now more interesting for Aiden, but a hell to Jason, who has been trying to study, not to see something like that. Professor Sophie. That's it for today. Mr. D'Souza saw me in my office. Aiden could finally smirk, feeling the calmness washing over his restless self. Aiden, you can go back without me, he said to Jason, who didn't bother to look at his face. Aiden left, and Jason stared at his back with his heart droning in something bad. I wish I could stop him. I wish I could save him. Jasper. Is it done? He yawned, waking up after the class was done. Jasper, ouch, he groaned, getting a slap at the back of his head. Jason, keep sleeping. The world doesn't need a walking sense like yours. He glared at the insert. Jasper, my world revolves around it. He signs, seeing him turning deaf ears to him and leaves. Aiden entered in the professor's room with a smirk lingering on his lips. He closed the door, too excited to lock it. The men mindlessly moved towards the woman waiting for him. Aiden, nice office, he said, staring at her body. He licked his lips, biting them gently. Professor shook. But you didn't even look around, she said, returning the smirk as she stared back at him, checking him out. Aiden, I looked enough now. I wanna look something. You have been hiding. He calmly stepped back, leaning on the working table, staring at her, who has already two of the buttons of her blouse undone. She seductively walked towards him, trying to leave a better impression as she approached him, throwing herself on him to catch, but the man didn't bother, and she fell over him, looking desperately to have him, while he stayed calmly on his posture, leaning on the table, his hand still in the smooth surface. In this scene, he looked all innocent and captivated by her. She put her hands on his side, not having a chance for him to escape, being superior at age and position. The woman was determined to take a lead to develop something impure in between them.